one short and sweet for you tonight, but and we're going to finish up the podcast by having a quick chat about Little Factory, designed by Shun Taguchi and Aya Taguchi, and it is the art work done by Sabrina Miramon. And the reason we wanted to talk about this was because this one came across my desk when I was having a look through games that I wanted to get to play with my family. And this game, Little Factory, is essentially what I would call baby's first, I guess it's not, maybe resource management, resource conversion, I guess. Baby's first resource conversion. The way the game works is that there are 4 different levels of resources. We start with our basic resources of wheat, coal, stone, clay, and cotton. And then there are 2 different levels above that where we have some manufactured goods at level 2. We have some processed goods, which are pink cards at level 3. Like, they all require different things. There's a conversion sheet on the back of the rulebook. And then there are some buildings, which are the top level. And the buildings, the way you win this game is it's either the first person to get to 10 victory points, or when all of the victory points have been removed from the game, have been assigned to players, the person with the most amount of victory points wins. I do believe there's 12 victory points in total to be able to be gotten. I think Matt ended up winning the game. He had 5, I had 4, you had 3.
Yeah. I think we've actually... Sorry, keep going. I think we played it wrong because I'm pretty sure the cards and the chips, you don't recount them. So if you have a building, that's automatically 2 points. You don't also then get 2 chips. So I just looked at the thing going, I think we shortchanged ourselves a little bit in that one.
But we'll see anyway.
Which wouldn't really extend the game too much more than what we were playing.
No, I don't think so, no.
Well, let me explain how this works, right? So on your turn, you can do one of 3 things. The first thing that you can do is that if you have a building in front of you, you've been able to work your way into getting a building, you can then activate that building. You can activate it at the beginning or the end of your turn. The building can do different things, such as turning resources into victory points or turning resources into other resources for free. The 2 other actions, which are your main bread and butter of the game, the first thing you do is called trading. Every card has a coin value, and you can, on your turn, trade for 1 or more cards. So each card has a coin value. I can trade that card in for another card of different and lower point value. So essentially, the main use of this is being able to take a very high value card and get a lot of lower value cards that may be able to give you different things in different areas. That's one of the first things. So that's the first action. And then the second action is producing. And these cards not only have a value to buy them, but they have a prerequisite that you could use as your trade option. So you could, for example, get planks of wood if you have 1 log of wood or 2 logs of wood, I think, in one of it. So if I produce I can produce 1 thing only, or I can trade for multiple things of the coin value. But I could take my 2 planks and then my 2 logs and produce planks, and I take that and I trade them, and then those logs go back into the supply for every other people to use. At its core, that's the game. The game is all about just taking little steps, producing, taking little baby steps up production trees, and then maybe going, well, I can't do anything with this building. There's nothing out there. And then maybe trading down to go into other production trees to do things like that. This is a game that, look, it's not going to tickle the puzzle side of a heavy gamer's brain. But we all collectively went, I can see what that is. And that would be a perfect baby's first resource management game. Like, this is literally, I could give this to your 8-year-olds, Matt, and even potentially Evie, and say, can you see that symbol somewhere, and get them to start doing that kind of stuff. And I really think this is the reason why I want to do it as a gateway game, is because I truly do think that this can start to show kids and other people like resource conversion and understanding, your tech trees and things like that.
No, I agree. I think that's where the value in this game lies. It's not for as you said, for heavy gamers. It wouldn't be one that you'd pick up off the shelf very often, but it's perfect for this gateway community if you're looking for a game that can teach you a mechanic, a really standard mechanic in bigger games as well.
Yeah.
Of, what have you got? How do you get to the next level? Or how do you jump a level by, maybe taking yourself, one step back to get 2 steps up kind of thing.
Yeah, and there was something that we spoke about at the end of the game where we were looking at sort of the recommended age, and it was saying 10 plus on here, and we all said, no, we could absolutely show this to our younger kids, and they totally get it. So I'm certain I could put this in front of my youngest son, and he'd look at the pictures and he'd go, yeah, I've got this, and kind of ties into a topic that I really want us to talk about on another podcast one day about those sort of like age ratings on games and such, and how that may be an invalid deterrent for some people picking up games. But coming back to this, I thought it was good. Yeah. It was fine. It was interesting.
Played in 20 minutes.
5 minutes
each.
Yep. It taught me something new. It taught me like I've got a small farm happening at the moment in my backyard. And I worked out that apparently if I get some clay and some wheat, I can get a cow. So after this,
you need to go get the clay. That's what you're missing. You've got the wheat at home. You just don't have the clay.
My entire yard is clay based. I'm gonna take some.
I'm sure it's Herefordshire clay though. Otherwise, God knows what we could end up.
You know what? I'm willing to experiment. Let's see what happens. So I'm gonna take some leftover bread. It's a little moldy, but we'll see what happens. So, and you know what? You need mold when you're making cheese. So I'm thinking like the cow's already halfway there.
Right.
All right, we'll throw some.
We may never see you again. This is history making $1 million idea right here.
I'm going to leave some bread. I'm going to bury it in the clay, and we'll see tomorrow if I have a cow. I'll post back.
Look, gosh, Ralph's not here, and the puns are still free flowing. It's great. Look, I do want to point out though, right? This game, as well as being really easy to play and teach, really quick. Like, granted, if you're playing with younger kids, yes, expect it to go about that half an hour mark. But still, that's still really good time for younger kids.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But the cost of this game, you can get it for $15 currently from the Gamesmen, which is an Australian board game store. $15 at the moment. Like, the cost of this game as well. Like, yes, I'm not going to probably get this out of my shelves very often to play with you guys. We want to play bigger games. That's where we're at in our career. However, this is absolutely a game that I could see just getting out in front of, getting out in front of a couple of friends with a night. We have tea, coffee, we have a few drinks, things like that, because it's very colorful. The colors are very stand out, like yellow, blue, pink, and green. So they all very stand out from each other. It's very simple. Nice. It's very simple. It's very easy to understand. I will say one negative of this game is that I tried to learn this directly from the rulebook for the first time. And the designers of this game are Japanese, and I don't know if there was any translation issues or anything, but it just felt like from time to time there was some wording issues where I'm like, I just couldn't understand
the intent
between what the difference between trading and producing was, right? Yeah. Because I was like, well, what's the difference and I just couldn't properly understand it. And then I played a game on BGA and it all clicked on, oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, I see what I can do here. So there was a few things like that going on, but I really do think this is a game that does have a little place. Now, it is part of a series of games. There is other ones that are called there's Little Factory. I believe that there's Little Town, Little City, or something like that. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And so there are the whole idea of this series of games. It's produced by ILO Games. IELLO.
And just to cut you off, because it's produced by them, the production will be absolutely quality, and it is like every game they produce is like the production value is off the charts. It is fantastic.
absolutely is, and that's why they tend to I really do enjoy these style their production values. I really enjoy Break the Code, which is also an ILO game. The production and the intent is really simple. The cards are really simple and easy to understand as well. And so, generally these series of games tend to take, like we said, one major mechanic, one major kind of theme and idea. This one here is resource conversion. Technically it's a race game. We're racing to 10 points, whatever it is. But realistically, the theme is all around, making a little factory. I have a little production line. I get this, I get that. I can produce this. I move on to the next thing. I follow up the production chains, and away we go. So there are other versions out there and other different ideas that you can check out. And I highly recommend you should check it out. As we said, it's very simple, very cheap. And I do think you could play this with, some really little kids. It plays 2 to 4 players, but we played it with 3, had no issues either. So
also, decent game that you could absolutely take to like a bistro with the family or
Yeah.
something like that. If you're going out on a Sunday lunch, just something to play with the kids while waiting for food. This is absolutely one of those games.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It didn't take up a lot of table space either, so
No.
that was really good. All right. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, we don't